ballroom dance is a set of partner dances, which are enjoyed both socially and competitively around the world, and growing all the more popular in North America. Because of its performance and entertainment aspects, ballroom dance is also widely enjoyed on stage, film, and television. Ballroom dance may refer, at its widest definition, to almost any type of partner dancing as recreation. However, with the emergence of dance sport in modern times, the term has become narrower in scope, and traditionally refers to the 5 international standard and 5 international Latin-style dances. The two styles, while differing in technique, rhythm and costumes, exemplify core elements of ballroom dancing such as control and cohesiveness. Developed in England, the two styles are now regulated by the World Dance Council. In the United States, two additional variations are popular, American Smooth and American Rhythm, which combine elements of both traditional Latin and ballroom dances. There are also a number of historical dances, and local or national dances, which may be danced in ballrooms or salons. Sequence dancing, in pairs or other formations, is still a popular style of ballroom dance. Definitions and history. The term ballroom dancing is derived from the word ball, which in turn originates from the Latin word balla, which means to dance. In times past, ballroom dancing was social dancing for the privileged, leaving folk dancing for the lower classes. These boundaries have since become blurred, and it should be noted even in times long gone, many ballroom dances were really elevated folk dances. The definition of ballroom dance also depends on the era. Balls have featured popular dances of the day such as the minuet, quadrille, polonaise, polka, mazurka, and others, which are now considered to be historical dances. Early modern age. The first authoritative knowledge of the earliest ballroom dances was recorded toward the end of the 16th century, when J.N. Tabarot, under the pen name Thuanot Arbeau, published in 1588 his Orca copyright Sography, a study of late 16th century French Renaissance social dance. Among the dances described were the solemn basse danse, the lively branle, pavane, and the galliard, which Shakespeare called the cinque pace as it was made of 5 steps. In 1650 the minuet, originally a peasant dance of Poitou, was introduced into Paris and set to music by Jean-Baptiste Lully and danced by the King Louis XIV in public, and would continue to dominate ballroom from that time until the close of the 18th century. Toward the latter half of the 17th century, Louis XIV founded his Accord de Copyright Royal de Musique de Danse, where specific rules for the execution of every dance and the 5 positions of the feet were formulated for the first time by members of the Accord de Copyright My. Eventually, the first definite cleavage between ballet and ballroom came when professional dancers appeared in the ballets, and the ballets left the court and went to the stage. Ballet techniques such as the turned-out positions of the feet, however, lingered for over 2 centuries and past the end of the Victorian era. 19th century. The waltz with its modern hold took root in England in about 1812. In 1819 Carl Maria von Weber wrote Invitation to the Dance, which marked the adoption of the waltz form into the sphere of absolute music. The dance was initially met with tremendous opposition due to the semblance of impropriety associated with the closed hold, though the stance gradually softened. In the 1840s several new dances made their appearance in the ballroom, including the polka, mazurka, and the Scottish. In the meantime a strong tendency emerged to drop all decorative steps such as intricates and ronds to jams that had found a place in the quadrilles and other dances. Early 20th century, modern ballroom dance has its roots early in the 20th century, when several different things happened more or less at the same time. The first was a movement away from the sequence dances towards dances where the couples moved independently. This had been prefigured by the waltz, which had already made this transition. The second was a wave of popular music, such as jazz, much of which was based on the ideas of black musicians in the USA. Since dance is to a large extent tied to music, this led to a burst of newly invented dances. There were many dance crazes in the period 1910–1930. The third event was a concerted effort to transform some of the dance crazes into dances which could be taught to a wider dance public in the US and Europe. Here Vernon and Irene Castle were important, and so was a generation of English dancers in the 1920s, including Josephine Bradley and Victor Sylvester. These professionals analyzed, codified, published and taught a number of standard dances. It was essential, if popular dance was to flourish, for dancers to have some basic movements they could confidently perform with any partner they might meet. Here the huge Arthur Murray organization in America, and the dance societies in England, such as the Imperial Society of Teachers of Dancing, were highly influential. Finally, much of this happened during and after a period of World War, and the effect of such a conflict in dissolving older social customs was considerable. Later, in the 1930s, the on-screen dance pairing of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers influenced all forms of dance in the USA and elsewhere. Although both actors had separate careers, their filmed dance sequences together, which included portrayals of the castles, have reached iconic status. Much of Astaire and Rogers' work portrayed social dancing, although the performances were highly choreographed, and meticulously staged and rehearsed. Competitive dancing. Competitions, sometimes referred to as dance sport, range from world championships, regulated by the World Dance Council, to less advanced dancers at various proficiency levels. Most competitions are divided into professional and amateur, though in the USA pro-am competitions typically accompany professional competitions. The International Olympic Committee now recognizes competitive ballroom dance. It has recognized another body, the World Dance Sport Federation, as the sole representative body for dance sport in the Olympic Games. However, it seems doubtful that dance will be included in the Olympic Games, especially in light of efforts to reduce the number of participating sports. Ballroom dance competitions are regulated by each country in its own way. There are about 30 countries which compete regularly in international competitions. There are another 20 or so countries which have membership of the WDC and or the WDSF, but whose dances rarely appear in international competitions. In Britain there is the British Dance Council, which grants national and regional championship titles, such as the British Ballroom Championships, the British Sequence Championships and the United Kingdom Championships. In the United States, amateur dance proficiency levels are defined by USA Dance. Ballroom dancing competitions in the former USS are also included the Soviet Ballroom Dances, or Soviet Program. Australian New Vogue is danced both competitively and socially. In competition there are 15 recognized New Vogue dances, which are performed by the competitors in sequence. These dance forms are not recognized internationally, neither are the US variations such as American Smooth and Rhythm. Such variations in dance and competition methods are attempts to meet perceived needs in the local marketplace. Internationally, the Blackpool Dance Festival, hosted annually at Blackpool, England, is considered the most prestigious event a dance sport competitor can attend. Formation dance is another style of competitive dance recognized by the IDSF. In this style, multiple dancers compete on the same team, moving in and out of various formations while dancing. Elements of competition. In competition ballroom, dancers are judged by diverse criteria such as poise, the hold or frame, posture, musicality and expression, timing, body alignment and shape, floor craft, foot and leg action, and presentation. Judging in a performance-oriented sport is inevitably subjective in nature, and controversy and complaints by competitors over judging placements are not uncommon. The Scarecki Purser called Scrutinius will tally the total number recalls accumulated by each couple through each round until the finals, when the skating system is used to place each couple by ordinals, typically 1 €6, though the number of couples in the final may vary. Sometimes, up to 7 couples may be present on the floor during the finals. During competitions, dancers are not all judged at the same level. There are 2 categories of levels. They are called the syllabus or open levels. Open levels are reserved for higher skilled dancers and it usually takes quite a while to get to that caliber of dancing. There are 3 levels in the open category: novice, pre-champ, and champ in increasing order of skill. At those levels, dancers no longer have restrictions on clothing, so all those beautifully gowns covered in jewels are now allowed in the smooth and standard dances. The fringe dresses with huge cutouts and elaborate designs are now allowed in the rhythm and Latin categories. Women also tend to wear extremely intricate hairstyles and bright makeup, often with jewels glued on in patterns. Moving on to the syllabus category, there are 3 levels there as well. They are bronze, silver, and gold. Gold being the highest and bronze the lowest. In these levels, moves that you can do are restricted to moves that are clearly written in syllabus, and illegal moves can lead to disqualification. Each level, bronze, silver, and gold, has different moves on their syllabus increasing in difficulty. At these levels, the elaborate costumes are not allowed, as there are very strict clothing restrictions. Jewels on costumes or hair can lead to disqualification. Medal tests, medal examinations for amateurs enable dancers' individual abilities to be recognized according to conventional standards. In medal exams, which are run by bodies such as the Imperial Society of Teachers of Dancing, each dancer performs 2 or more dances in a certain genre in front of a judge. Genres such as modern ballroom or Latin are the most popular. Societies such as the ISTD also offer medal tests on other dance styles. In some North American examinations, levels include newcomer, bronze, silver, gold and championship. Each level may be further subdivided into either 2 or 4 separate sections. Collegiate ballroom, there is a part of the ballroom world dedicated to college students. These chapters are typically clubs or teams that have an interest in ballroom dancing. Teams hold fundraisers, social events, and ballroom dance lessons. Ballroom dance team are unregistered trademark. Goals are to have fun and learn to dance well. There is a strong focus on finding a compatible dance partner and bonding with teammates. There is also a competitive side to collegiate ballroom. In competitive collegiate ballroom, competitors go to competitions at different schools or events, such as Arnold Dancesport Classic and MIT Open Ballroom Dance Competition. Dancers can compete in 4 different categories. The categories are American Rhythm, International Latin, American Smooth, and International Standard. Competitors dance at different levels based on their abilities. The levels of dance, in order of difficulty, are newcomer, bronze, silver, gold, novice, pre-championship, and championship. Bronze through gold is considered syllabus. Novice through championship is considered open. Individuals and teams as a whole compete against each other. For example, the University of Michigan Ballroom Dance Team has won the National Collegiate Championships for 11 consecutive years. Dances. Ballroom dance refers most often to the 10 dances of International Ballroom and International Latin, though the term is also often used interchangeably with the 5 International Ballroom dances. Sequence dancing, which is danced predominantly in the United Kingdom, is also sometimes included as a type of ballroom dancing. In the United States and Canada, the American style also exists. The dance technique used for both international and American styles is similar, but international ballroom allows only closed dance positions, whereas American smooth allows closed, open and separated dance movements. In addition, different sets of dance figures are usually taught for the 2 styles. International Latin and American Rhythm have different styling, and have different dance figures in their respective syllabi. Other dances sometimes placed under the umbrella ballroom dance include nightclub dances such as Lindy Hop, West Coast Swing, nightclub two-step, hustle, salsa, and merengue. The categorization of dances as ballroom dances has always been fluid, with new dances or folk dances being added to or removed from the ballroom repertoire from time to time, so no list of subcategories or dances is any more than a description of current practices. There are other dances historically accepted as ballroom dances, and are revived via the vintage dance movement. In Europe, Latin swing dances include Argentine tango, mambo, Lindy hop, swing boogie, and disco fox. One example of this is the subcategory of Cajun dances that originated in Acadiana, with branches reaching both coasts of the United States. Ballroom smooth dances are normally danced to Western music, and couples dance counterclockwise around a rectangular floor following the line of dance. In competitions, competitors are costumed as would be appropriate for a white tie affair, with full gowns for the ladies and bow tie and tailcoats for the men. Though in American smooth it is now conventional for the men to abandon the tail suit in favor of shorter tuxedos, vests, and other creative outfits. Latin rhythm dances are commonly danced to contemporary Latin American music and Western music. With the exception of a few traveling dances like samba and paso doble, couples do not follow the line of dance but perform their routines more or less in one spot. In competitions, the women are often dressed in short-skirted Latin outfits while the men are outfitted in tight-fitting shirts and pants, the goal being to emphasize the dancer's leg action and body movements. Style classification, see also, dance in Canada, Ukrainian dance, dance sport in Austria, Australian dance, dance sport at the Asian Games, references. Ballroom dancing judging criteria.